Hello, my name is Sophia LaRue, and this is my culturally responsive library project. I'm a junior and studying early childhood education at Arizona State University. For this library project, I interned at Madison Rose Lane Elementary School in Phoenix, Arizona. It was a Title I school, and here we go. So here's the gender demographics of the books. 70% were non-human characters, and the others were female and male characters. For the ones that were included with human representation, it was pretty 50-50. For race, again, 70% were non-human characters, but for race representation, 30% were white, 15% was around Asian and Hispanic characters, and there were less Black and Middle Eastern characters. Other languages that were other than English were around just a handful of books, with 10% of the 50 books were languages other than English, and 90% were just English. Here are some of them. They were mainly in Spanish, just Spanish translations. Another topic that interested me that I was looking for in the library were different family structures. This one is very good. On the left, again, there was just a handful, around 10%, compared to other 90% that was just either not about families or included the typical family structure. This book on the left was very good because it included a variety of different families. And the one on the right, Whistle for Willie, was when mainly the grandma was the primary caregiver. Another topic that interested me were characters represented with anxiety or some other emotional issues. Around 10% of the books included books about anxiety and mindfulness, and the other 90% were on other topics, so there was only a handful for some social emotional topics. But the books that were here, I feel, were very good choices. The demographics of my internship classroom, pretty perfectly split down the middle between girls and boys, 11 boys, 11 girls. 50% were white, 28% were Hispanic, 9% were Black, around just like 2 kids were Black, and 1 student was Navajo, 1 student was Asian. Family structures, other than 2 parents, 2 children, so where grandparents or are involved, or they're adopted, or just single mother, dad, were around 30% of the classroom. 27% of the classroom was bilingual. They either knew like Navajo or they knew Spanish. 15% had divorced parents or were adopted, and there was around just 1 or 2 children in the classroom that were disabled or religious. The other 27% did not experience any of the above that I knew of. I believe my teacher did very well on being inclusive with her books, considering she had a great amount of books to choose from. There were books that provided mirrors for students who had parents that were going through divorce and had different family structures besides just a mother and father. She definitely took her demographics into consideration. There were mirrors for both girls and boys. There could definitely be less books with animals and more human representation. I do believe there could be more books with Hispanic characters, since half of the class was Hispanic, and there were only a few books that included those mirrors. In my internship classroom, I also found a few different kinds of families and students with different races and genders. There could be more windows provided in the books for the classroom. There were a few into other cultures, but there were very few of them. There were mainly books about different situations with animals, and it could definitely include different types of people and different cultures in their books. One book I would recommend for the classroom is Fry Bread by Kevin Noble Millard. The book Fry Bread is a perfect book for students to learn about different cultures and how we celebrate them. In the book, it goes over different ways fry bread brings people together and goes over many aspects such as its history and its people and how different families celebrate together. It's perfect because it provides a lot of questions to also ask the students throughout the reading on what they celebrate, and it doesn't just have to be with fry bread and the Native American culture. It's a mirror for Native American students and those who cook specific foods and do specific things with their family based on their culture. And it's a good window because it provides a window to students of not of Native American descent and the foods they often cook. It also gets rid of Native American bias because there's not many books on that topic, and it gets rid of a lot of gender biases as well because of how everyone is didn't really have a certain role in this book. After inspecting different classroom libraries, I learned that there is a lot to take into consideration when choosing appropriate books for early childhood classrooms. You need to focus on books that will teach your students lessons for their age. It is important that you understand the demographics of your classroom and make sure you are providing books that they can understand, providing them mirrors as well as windows to understand the world they live in. Thank you.